Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ham Radio Adventures number 9, Direct Berry Coax Part 1, Trenching for the Berry. K3 MHW, I'm Mark. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ham Radio Adventures 9. I'm Mark, K3 MHW. This video is broken down into two parts. The second part is not done yet. The first part is going to be an explanation and a view of everything I've done so far. My radios are out here in the pole barn. The pole barn is where I do woodwork, metalwork, all kinds of things that are very dirty. I have a stove for the winter. There's a lot of, not embers, but dust that comes out of it. So I figured I'm going to move all my stuff into the house and create a ham shack in the house. Now, in order to do that, I have to run additional cable, about 150 feet of cable, back to the house. And it's not as simple as one cable. It's going to be two coaxes, two Ethernet lines, and a rotor line for a remote antenna switch. So I have to get the ground ready, and this video is about getting the ground ready. Now, I'm delayed on this because I had my knee replaced, my left knee, back in January. And it took me a lot longer to recover from that than I thought. So I'm kind of late getting this going. And on top of that, as you'll see in the video, we had almost 8 days of rain. I had part of the trench dug, started to fill up with water. So I've had delays. Now I'm against time pressure because next week I have training all week. I'm back to work full duty, and I have 1 week of training, and unfortunately I can't do anything till I get back from training, so we probably won't finish part 2 until after July 5th. But I'll try to explain everything I'm doing so far, show you the entry boxes, show you the ditch. I put in a 3-inch piece of conduit under a sidewalk. I've got a picture of that. Let me show you what I've got so far, and I'll see you at the end of the video. Thank you. I was looking around for a new desk and realized that I wasn't going to get anything under $800. So I decided to build my own desk. I took 2x8s, cut them to size, rough size anyway, and then I glued them together. There's a picture here of the raw table after it's glued. I made my own shelves. I then painted the shelves, and then I made a cutout in the desk, and that cutout, I don't know why I did it, but there's T-molding on it. It's rubber molding. You'll see a picture of it later. I then test fitted the shelves. I decided I needed some more shelves on the shelves, and I test fitted the added shelves to the desk. And as you can see here in my garage, I set it up ahead of time. 2 filing cabinets. There'll be 2 rear legs to hold up the weight. And then I moved it into the house for a test fit. From where the equipment's going to be, where the desk is that you see here, I can see the tower as I'm operating, which I thought was pretty cool. You know how we feel about our towers. We're proud of them. But the desk fits well. The wife's happy with it. I've got LED lighting on it, and we'll show you a picture of that during part 2. For the entry box into the house, I got a Vivor box. It's the second one I've got. You'll see pictures of them later completed. This is a 12-inch by 12-inch box, and I added the appropriate PVC entry on it, 2-inch out into the house, and then I'll show you how I decided how I was going to mount it to the house. I measured the wall to make sure I didn't hit any studs. I marked it on the outside and on the inside, drilled through and put a 2-inch hole in there, and it worked out very well for me. You can see the box mounted there in the upper center part of the picture against the house. And then there's a picture of the box closed close up. And then there's a picture of the open box with the equipment in it. That's 2 Alpha Delta lightning arresters. One is for the Heliax 7/8 inch, and the other one is for the LMR 600, which will be used for HF. This is the 24-inch by 24-inch entry box that goes into the pole barn. That's where I'll be tying into in that 3-inch conduit to the right. However, it's not very neat right now because I've been fooling around with the wiring. When I'm done, I'll show you a finished picture of the entire box. Now, the reason I'm hand digging this portion of the trench, the first 50 feet, is because, as you can see here, there's conduit underground. There's a water line, a sewer line, 2 electrical lines, and a data line, and I think there's another line. But anyway, I've been digging, kind of trying to locate them, and I didn't want to use the excavator because obviously I'd break them. You'll also see in this picture an orange line, and you'll notice that I had to dig the trench in a little oval fashion, and that's because the septic tank is where the orange line is, and the concrete was interfering with a straight dig. I also came across another piece of conduit which feeds the septic electric. And if you'll notice the orange arrow here, I guess when they repaired the septic system, they left a lot of the old PVC buried, and that's a broken piece of conduit or sewer line that they actually left in the ground, and I have to dig that out. It's a real problem. I've been finding all kinds of crap buried underneath that the contractor put in there, so I'm glad I'm doing this part by hand. For the most part, I dug the top 6 inches off the trench because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do the whole dig at the same time. This way, when the guys come over to help me dig down the rest of the way, they know exactly where I want it done. However, one of the things I had to do, I had to get under that sidewalk, and what I did was I put a 3-inch piece of conduit. It's about 6 inches long, and I actually hammered it through the sand that's under the sidewalk to the other side. And this is a little video of the beginning and the end of it. You'll also notice some water in there, and of course we live out in the woods and it's pretty wet out here after 8 days of rain, so there's a little seepage. I'm going to wait for about 5 dry days in a row before I continue to dig. Then with all the rain, I had to prepare everything. So one of the things I did was I've got the heliax, as you can see in the back there, on the big roller. That's ready to roll. I'll use my tractor to lift that up with the forks. We'll put a pipe through it and we'll run the heliax. And you can also see there's a couple coils of heliax laying there. I probably have an extra 200 feet in case I'm short on the one reel. The other thing is I built a wire rack, and I put on the top left is the LMR 600. The right side next to the LMR 600 is the extra 175 feet of rotor cable. And at the bottom are 2 rolls of Ethernet direct bury, and I'll put them in the ground. But I whip that little thing together, and it works really well because if you've already rolled the cable onto those rollers, and they pull out very easy. Even the LMR 600 comes off the roller fairly easily. So starting from the house, there's the box that's going into the house. The desk is on the other side of the wall, 3-inch conduit down into the ground. We come over here, and at the edge of that sidewalk is the end of the 3-inch that I buried, the PVC. It's about 6 feet long under the sidewalk. Comes over here, and that white pipe sticking up is temporary. That was just so I knew where the pipe was because I had to backfill that hole, and I'll have to redig it out again because of all the rain we had. You can see all the rain in the ditch, rainwater. Luckily, it's only 6 inches deep there, so it's really not hurting anything. Then I have my little loop around the septic system, and where you see that plywood, I've dug down about 30 inches there because there's 2 pieces of conduit that run out to the garage, and I located those. It was hard to find them, but I finally found them. Little dam there to keep the water out, and some more water down here. And where the trench ends, at this point, after we dig and get everything set, I'll be able to use the excavator from where the trench ends there all the way over around the side of the pole barn to where the entry box is, and then I can be connected to my tower, which is the whole idea of me running the equipment in the house instead of in the dirty garage. I want to thank everybody for watching. So as you can see, there's a lot of work to doing this, and I happen to have to do the dig to use the least amount of coax cable in an area where there's 6 or 7 different buried PVCs, water lines, and other things. I think there's a French drain down at the end that I put in years ago, and I had to dig under that to get the 3-inch conduit under the sidewalk. Anyway, that's it for Ham Radio Adventures 9. It's been a lot of work. I'm sure those of you that have done digs without using an excavator and have done them by hand know what I'm going through. But as soon as the weather clears up, we'll get it all done. The excavator video, which will be part of part 2, they're probably going to dig the other 80 feet in about 10 minutes. I'll probably do it myself. It's my buddy's excavator. And that thing will go right through the driveway, no problem. Once I get it hooked up, I'll be able to move everything into the house, and that's another video, because breaking down the station, moving every box, and running testing is going to be kind of a pain in the butt, if you know what I mean. But it's well worth it. I'll be nice and warm in the winter, nice and cool in the summer, and I'll be able to enjoy it in my own private room. So thanks for watching. Look out for part 2, and I hope you enjoy watching this video and you know my pain. Take care.